Oh, hello. Welcome back. This is the second installment of I've Been a Rapper for a While, brought to you by Pig Food Records, hosted by Dezmatic. That's me. What we have for you today is an interview conducted by myself around 2006 in New York City with our good friends Louis Logic, JJ Brown, and Dan Maier. It is yet another piece of cringy nostalgia, mostly me cringing at terrible interviewing techniques, with some very interesting answers in regards to the state of independent music and independent hip-hop music in New York City at that time, which was a little while ago. There is a lot of beer involved, and there's at least one cardigan, and that kind of sums it up. So sit back, relax, and cringe away. Left to right, say your name.
My left,
Where
your left. I'll start with,
okay. Danny. State your name, where you're from, where you live, and what you do.
Tell him.
You're up, mate. Take two.
I'm Louis Logic, and I'm from Long Island, born in Manhattan, live in Brooklyn. I make rap records with him.
Word up.
And I drank all this beer. It was a science experiment. Good.
Yo, what up? My name is JJ Brown, repping Brooklyn all day, a day. I'm one half of Louis Logic and JJ Brown, and definitely one half of Danny the Deacon Maier and JJ Brown, 5G Productions. Is my partner. Like, without Lou, there's no me. Without me, there's no him. You know what I'm saying? It's my homeboy Danny D. Introduce yourself to the people.
Dan Maier from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, now living in Hell's Kitchen, Manhattan. And I mix records.
And don't get it twisted, because he mixed the Odd Couple record.
I did mix the
Odd Couple.
Is that a disclaimer? Like you fucked up?
No,
that's his claim to fame.
That's the beginning of the rock stardom right there.
Right.
When somebody's like, yo, who the fuck are you? We all go, he did mix the Odd Couple album.
Yeah.
I mean, Cinematic was cool, Misery Loves Comedy was alright, but this motherfucker mixed the Odd Couple
So cut
record.
me some slack.
Right.
That is true.
Louis just got sad.
No, it was just, it's meaningful.
Oh. Alright.
I got pensive, it's not the same.
Okay. Let's just get right into it. Anybody jump out wherever you want. If you feel like you're talking too much, shut the fuck up, etc., etc. I would like all three of you to answer the questions equally. Anybody jump at this. We are in New York City. This is the New York City rap scene, whether we like it or not. This is what we're dealing with. How do we feel about the New York City independent underground hip-hop scene, and how do we feel about the New York independent music scene? We'll start there.
Not enough cardigans!
Yeah.
Not enough cardigans.
The independent hip-hop scene might not be what it was, but the New York City independent music scene is definitely on point, and it's one of the best. It's a little rough to be just an MC in New York City nowadays. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like how it was when we were on the come up. You gotta be a little bit more multi-faceted than that. But if you're a true MC, I think if you're ever gonna find love anymore in America, it's definitely gonna be here in New York City.
Love, like sex and like introduce it to your mom love, or?
Yeah, a little bit of everything, really.
Metaphorically.
Right.
I think the independent music scene in New York is thriving. However, you have to be one of those people who finds your niche, and you got to fit into it. And even if that means becoming a mutant in order to survive the fallout, then you got to be that, if that's what you want. Or there are a lot of accounting firms and a lot of firm concrete for feeling. So, yeah.
What's the next question?
Get in where you fit in. That's all I'm saying.
Word up.
Fuck, I had it and then I lost it. You are Space Cadet.
I do that all the time. All the time.
How do you feel about the way things on a mainstream level, not even on the mainstream, how do you feel about the hipsterism of hip-hop and indie culture, not just indie hip-hop culture, but specifically
Indie culture in general.
Indie culture, how do you feel, does it feel temporary to you? And what does that mean about your placement in this culture? Because you are, all three of you, part of it, whether you like it or not.
Wait, does what feel temporary? The hipsterism?
Yeah, I was gonna say
The hipsterism of indie hip hop culture. I mean, do you see this? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, do you see the fragility of?
we were in style before being a hipster came into style.
Right.
Yeah.
You might become a victim of something that came after you. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no.
And I feel that not about just y'all, but about all of us. And I'm scared of it. So please talk to me about that, because it's a real thing that I think we need to pay attention to.
It's a good point, and reason for concern, because a lot of us benefit from what happened with the hipsterization of hip hop, as much as we've also seen drawbacks. Many of us who make indie rap records grew up dreaming of being like the groups that we love so much.
Right.
You know, like Tribe Called Quest and De La Soul and
Black
BDPs
Moon.
and Black Moons. Thank you. You know, and it was a very black and very urban culture, and now things have changed dramatically, and it has become very inner city, young, suburban. I moved to the city and I love art of all genres, and I eat vegetarian, and I have an asymmetrical haircut.
Talking about Williamsburg.
Yeah.
Sure, Williamsburg is a great example. San Francisco is packed with neighborhood. Every major city has its little hipster pocket. As much as we benefited from it, we've also seen the drawbacks. We've seen groups who were lauded to the point of heavenly appreciation that some of us feel, why didn't we get the same things? But we, at the same time, we've seen people who never would have given a flying fuck about rap music listening to it, buying it, and coming to our shows. I think in the end it's gonna hurt us if that thing dies. It's just probably the reason why it becomes an issue at all, the hipster thing, is because a lot of people feel like they're not getting enough of the hipster love. And so there are those who are waiting for it to die, and there are those who are like, if it dies, I die with it.
Yeah, as long as you're not jumping on it just because it's what's hot right now, you'll be all right. Like I was trying to say before, like we were in style before it came in to the mainstream, and we'll be in style long after it. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't help that shit came to us right now. You know what I'm saying? But as long as we don't change and we keep progressing, you know, then the industry will come to us. That's how we feel about it. We're the best Louis Logic and JJ Brown you're ever gonna find. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to it, there's a lot of cats trying to be us. There's a lot of cats trying to be the best hipster group you ever saw in your life. We're always gonna be the best Louis Logic and JJ Brown. So in that sense, how could we ever go wrong? You know what I'm saying?
Because we're really, really good looking.
It's about the haircut. Really, I'm just gonna bring it all down right back to that.
Point it out.
The haircut.
5 years.
So where does that make you fit in, Danny Cassidy?
That's $100 haircut you're looking at, so I think he's straight.
It's the kicks. It's the haircut. Huh?
Right.
Tis true.
Now, you do a lot of production, and you've been really fucking quiet, almost excruciatingly quiet for this whole interview.
Well, what do you want to know?
Well, what do you want to tell us?
I can tell you anything about production, mixing records, Pro Tools.
This dude doesn't always get it.
so let's
this is a
talk about-
world-class engineer. Like any technical questions you got, this is the man to ask.
I don't want to ask technical questions. I want to ask questions that appeal to the wide audience, and I want to ask you, how do you feel about the way that these hipster groups, fuck it, I'm gonna edit it myself. So Plastic Little Spank Rock and fucking Chromeo have these, and Flosstradamus have these records or these tapes or these CDs or whatever the fuck they have, and they might have a machine behind them pushing them, whether it's promotion, production, engineering, etc. But at the end of the day, they can't do what motherfuckers used to be able to do. So it's about a pinpoint of a machine.
It's cultural.
But it's marketing.
That's what I mean.
It's feeding off of a culture. And
it's cultural in so much as they use culture stuff to do it.
I respect, but I want to know what you feel about. There's records that are classics that are not well mixed. 36 Chambers is not a very well mixed record, and it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
The early Beatles stuff was garage shit. It sounded crunchy and fuzzy, and it sounds fucking great. Those are classics. They don't have shit to do with marketing. Where do you feel, from an engineering perspective, that the less mixed stuff that just has that oomph, that doesn't have that? It's not about culture. See, we're at this like crossroads, I feel like, right now, and I think it's like motherfuckers really need to choose sides soon, or you can ride it out and be as like a political liaison between all sides, but it's scary.
To me, it always came down to the songwriting, and the production on top of that is the sizzle. So start with a good product. Start with something that's really well written, and we'll make this thing sizzle on top of it with the beats and the mix and everything that we've learned how to do, how to make records over the past 9 years.
I think that's what you were getting at with the Wu-Tang thing. Like it doesn't, their whole thing was like it was quality over kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like the execution wasn't necessarily the genius of it. It was kind of the ideas that went into it. It's almost like a rough question for us, just because we pride ourselves on not only having like the greatest ideas, but like nobody can fuck with our execution. You know what I'm saying?
And sometimes
add on to your question,
I like to bust on these guys a little bit sometimes, because I think that a lot is captured in the performance of something. So maybe if it's not dead on, or it's not on the grid, or whatever the case may be, I'm a big fan, and coming from like the rock world, like it's about the performance, the groove, the soul that's in the thing, and not necessarily that it's perfect.
Yeah,
right.
I like that
you
too.
See, like you see, that's right. Natural.
Yeah.
You see, you see Lucero, and then you see Big L. You see Wu-Tang, and you see, what's the fucking? There's just like the indie, like execution is one thing, but the oomph. And you said Return of the Raw. I think I heard, motherfuckers. Did I hear you guys say that just recently? No, was it Gant and Jay? Yeah, it was Gant and Jay. I'm sorry.
So that's what I'm trying. I think Lou kind of.
We've been doing a lot of these, but like I think that like you get the old dirty version, 36 Chambers, where it was like not really the best mixed record, but it was so colorful. There were so many sides.
Even with that,
and I'm gonna stick with the reference to the early Beatles stuff, man.
Yeah.
When they were like they were gross. Like
I think
their recording was low budget,
right.
and I love the idea of a great idea with precise execution. I think we're talking about precision.
Especially in the case of the Beatles. This is a band that was set up in a live room, and there's 2 microphones, and they say go for it, pretend you're on stage. That's what we're putting into vinyl. That's it.
That's where you get like the Black Keys and the Mars Volta and things like that.
Part of what's important about your point, though, is there's a little bit of leeway when you're the first. None of us are the first anymore, homie. You know what I'm saying? Like the Beatles was the first. Little Richard was the first. At this point, it's like if you got a great idea, you better make that shit sound good. You know what I'm saying? Because if your shit doesn't sound good, the audience might be like, you know what? You ain't the first motherfucker to rap.
I'm going to disagree. I said what I said though about the culture thing. I didn't mean it was cultural in terms of why people appreciate it. I mean, marketing people take advantage of cultural phenomenons.
Yeah.
For example, you see marketing people picking up on the fact that inner city kids like graffiti and breakdancing and dunk sneakers, and they like going to free parties that have a 2-hour-long open bar, and using cross media, a little bit of visual art, a little bit of audio art, a little bit of film art, and they use that to their advantage. And that's why I think there are a lot of really cheesy bands who not only are they using the lo-fi.
Great! That was great. Hope you enjoyed. I've been a rapper for a while. Volume 2.